Hey, St. Mark's family. Today, on behalf of the vestry, on behalf of the Stewardship Committee, on behalf of the staff, we want to invite you to prayerfully consider your pledged financial commitment to St. Mark's for 2021. It's been a crazy, crazy year. And as I look back over everything we've been through over the last few months together, my main feeling is one of just immense pride and gratitude at being able to be a part of this community through this difficult season. Our community has been more generous than they ever have been before since the pandemic has started. Right away, our vestry and our staff decided that instead of kind of battening down the hatches and saving up as much money as we could for some future day, given all the economic uncertainty, we decided right away that we felt called to be more generous than we've ever been before. We kind of put that call out in front of you, our community, and you have responded with unbelievable generosity. We've seen many of you give generously over and above your pledge commitments this year so that St. Mark's could so that we could put ourselves on the front lines of this crisis through our generous financial gifts to our local partner organizations who are themselves on the front lines of this crisis. It's been an amazing thing to watch and to see over the course of this last year, to see how you've responded with generosity to our world that is in need. And now is a time for us to look forward in as much as that's possible, given all the uncertainty. But looking forward, we have one really firm conviction, and that is that we want to continue to be generous. We want to continue to support local organizations who are continuing to be on the front lines of this crisis. And so that, more than anything, is our focus in our 2021 budget. Obviously, we want to stay strong. We want to continue to support our brilliant staff and brilliant ministries that have all found creative ways to adapt to our current circumstance. And so with all that in mind, we invite you today to consider what you can give, what you can commit to supporting our church over this next year. We know that it's an uncertain time. We know that many in our community have been affected economically by the crisis too, and so we understand that this is an unusual year. We don't want your pledge to be an undue burden on you, but we also do believe that the more that we lean into the church, the more that we give ourselves over to God, the more that God gives back to us. You can go as deep into this Christianity thing as you want to. And so I invite you and your family to consider what it might mean for you to give more of yourselves this year to our community than you did in the years past. I do think that God is at work in deep and beautiful ways in our church community, in the wider church community, and in the world. And I do believe that it's possible for us to look back on this difficult time as what was the beginning of a renewal of God's work and God's kingdom in the world. And so this week we invite you to prayerfully consider, to take some time with your family to think about what you think might be possible and how you commit to this place over the next year. It's this time in the background where we as a vestry and finance committee are looking at these kind of big Excel spreadsheets of trying to plan our budget for next year. But really, like I said in my sermon a few weeks ago, a big budget Excel spreadsheet, that's just kind of, if you want to transpose that into a theological vocabulary, those are just seeds that we as a church are planning on sowing out into the world over the course of the next year, seeds that we hope will grow into the fruits of God's kingdom. And so I want you to think about your pledge commitment in that same way, that the dollars that you give to the church, the dollars that you commit to the church are seeds that you and your family are sowing out into the world through our community of St. Mark's, through this gathered community of gardeners and farmers of God's kingdom, and that then we over the next year get to watch together and work the fields together as we watch those seeds grow into fruits of God's kingdom, fruits that we believe will last forever. Thank you, and I look look forward to seeing you soon.
Hey everybody, it's Scott.
And Julian.
And we are the Forrest family.
Part of them.
We have 4 sons who aren't with us right now, but are always with us here and in your hearts too. And we appreciate how everybody at St. Mark's loves them and loves us so much. If you were to ask us what St. Mark's means to us a year ago, I would have said working with the kids in godly play on Sunday mornings, or sitting in the sanctuary on a hot summer morning with that air conditioning cooling me down and just feeling so relaxed, or breakfast tacos.
Or enjoying the music as I'm waiting for the kids to get ready to acolyte, teaching Sunday school, being outside and playing on that enormous playground with the kids.
A lot has changed, hasn't it? So if you were to ask me today, my answer would be different in many ways, and in some ways very similar. Today I'd think of Zach and Mother Mary and Mark on Zoom church, and how I leave Mark's organ playing on to fill up the room for as long as possible at the end of each service. Or men's group via Zoom, or
small groups
via Zoom,
or book club
via Zoom. Look, the thing that we realize that we appreciate most about St. Mark's is the people. It's always been that way, and it still is, except now it means even more to us. So we are so appreciative of everybody at St. Mark's. We always refer to it as the St. Mark's family. You've treated us and our sons as family. Absolutely. And it is truly a family. We're so appreciative of the way that the clergy and the staff have bent over backwards, sideways, frontways, and all sorts of ways.
Learn lots of new things.
To make church happen for us today. And we can't wait to get back and see y'all again. Until then,
peace.
Bye-bye. Peace.
Good morning. We are Jay and Jody Doran. St. Mark's Church is a very important part of our life. Needless to say, this year has been one like no other. We are especially grateful for clergy and staff who have been so innovative in supporting our parish during this difficult time. Hopefully, we will be together in person soon.
We're especially proud that the people of St. Mark's have given so generously during these uncertain times. This generous giving has allowed St. Mark's to increase outreach to local organizations that serve those in need, such as El Buen Samaritano, Community First, and Welcome Table. No doubt there will be continued need in 2021. We're happy to continue pledging to St. Mark's and look forward to a bright future for St. Mark's.
Hello everyone, we are the Carrolls. I'm Dan, this is Morgan. We also have 2 daughters, Adeline and Victoria. We've been members of the St. Mark's community for a little over 2 years. We originally had found St. Mark's after we enrolled our daughter in preschool. We had been searching for a church home for many years, and we found that the church was every bit as wonderful as the preschool, and we quickly joined and have immersed ourselves in the St. Mark's community. We want to take this opportunity to share with you why St. Mark's is important to us and why we pledge every year.
The children's ministry at St. Mark's has been a part of the church that we have been especially involved in over the last 2 years. As you all know, during the time of pandemic, it is hard to see all the loss that has happened, and it's been hard to see our children not be a part of the church community at this time. However, due to the wonderful creativity by Casey and his wife Sarah, they have come up with a program, kind of a remote program, if you will. It is Casey creates a video lesson every week, and then they have packets that you can come pick up, and there's activities in the packets. And so the children are able to do the Bible lessons and these activities at home with their parents, and it keeps us all involved in this St. Mark's community. We know that without generous giving from parishioners like you, programs like this would not be available for the children, and we appreciate your giving.
We also admire how St. Mark's prioritizes the needs of the greater community at or sometimes even above the needs of itself. And I think that's been very evident during the last 7 months of the pandemic, how St. Mark's has given to the greater Ulster community to help those who are most in need during this time.
We miss you all very, very much. We cannot wait for the day that we can all be together again, and we are praying for you while we're apart.
Hi, we're the Quinones family. I'm Amy and this is Michael, and our kids are Colin and Camille. And we wanted to take this opportunity to share with you why we give to St. Mark's and some of the reasons it's important to us. When we joined St. Mark's 2.5 years ago, we were warmly welcomed and we felt an instant spiritual connection.
And we feel it's important to give to St. Mark's to help ensure that other members and newcomers feel just as supported as we do. And we want to support an incredibly amazing staff at St. Mark's that's shown a Herculean effort in keeping everyone connected during this difficult year. And also in supporting St. Mark's, we support the many ministries and missions that help the local and greater community. So thanks for giving us this opportunity to share with you some of the reasons why we support St. Mark's.
We hope everybody's staying safe and we hope to see you all soon. Bye.
Bye.
Good morning. We are Bill and Nancy Kibler, and we have been active and tithing members of St. Mark's for over 25 years.
I've served on the vestry twice, on the day school board for 6 years, and I've coached teenagers in lay reading for another 7.
I've served on the vestry and am currently heading up the men's group. With my daughter, Mary Elise Kelly, we have made many items for the church and for Godly Play. And for the church, most recently, we made an altar for the worship space along the meditation trail.
The pandemic has brought us both negatives and positives. I keenly felt the loss when services could no longer be held in the sanctuary. I even mourned the loss of virtual sanctuary when the ministers had to hunker down in their homes. Our positives come from being forced to view how our church home at St. Mark's is part of the greater world, not just a small group of worshipers in South Austin. From the news, but even so from being part of the Rector's Book Club, we have come to realize the terrible unfairness inherent in our society and the difficulties forced most especially on those the Bible calls the least of these our brethren.
We have been overwhelmed to see the generosity of our parish responding to this crisis through donations totaling currently over $25,000 to COVID-related relief to places such as El Buen Samaritano, Community First Village, the Austin Justice Coalition, and even the Austin Creative Alliance. This has inspired us to be even more purposeful and generous in our own giving.
So we urge everyone who can to contribute even more generously through tithing and in other ways to do the good work that our church is, to continue the good work that our church is doing in our community and in the wider world.
So God bless you all.
Hello, we are Chris and Melissa Blanding, and we've been members of St. Mark's for 9 years and have 3 young daughters, Ella, Caroline, and Abigail. We're lectors, and I was on the vestry and honored to be senior warden when we called Father Zach to be our priest. Last fall, I had so much fun helping to organize the first ever block party. I currently chair the Stewardship Committee. Today, I want to share with you what St. Mark's has meant to us during this pandemic. Like all of us, we miss being together all at one time. We miss singing, we miss Godly Play, playground time with our friends, and breakfast tacos. While we dream about the day that we can be together again, we love the creative ways that our church has continued to support our kids and help us feel connected. We participated in Kids Club over the summer, and it was the highlight of my kids' week. We really appreciate the family picnic Eucharist and how well thought out it is. And since I have a platform to talk about Casey, I also want to say how much I appreciate him and his willingness to take feedback and make changes. We tried doing virtual Godly Play for a few weeks, and it just didn't work for many families, but he was quick to adapt and come up with something even better. We are so lucky to have the Bushman family and happy that our pledge goes to support Casey, his dedication to our kids, and his endless hard work.
I've been thinking a lot the last few days about why we contribute our time and our money to the church. And what it comes down to is it's our spiritual home. It's where we were first It's where we've grown in our faith together as a couple. It's where our children were baptized and where they were introduced to the faith, and where we hope that they'll grow in their spiritual development and their love of God. So ultimately, it's the place where we feel that we best serve the body of Christ in our community. So thanks so much.
Thank you.
Hello, St. Mark's family. I wanted to share some of my thoughts about St. Mark's with you during this time of stewardship. St. Mark's was a haven for me when I first moved to Austin almost 20 years ago. It was a place not only did I find to worship, but I made very good friends there. And of course, I started singing with the choir almost immediately. And so that was where I felt my home was. And that's the reason I've stayed, because of the wonderful ministry and leadership of the priests that we have had over the years. And of course, once Mark came, I would sing for him anywhere. So even though I'm far away right now, I still worship with you all virtually, and I still make my pledge, and I will continue to do that until I come back to Austin. Please be as generous as you can. I've been so impressed with, even during this terrible time of pandemic, how much community service and generosity our St. Mark's has shown to the community in general. So I wish you all well, keep well, and be safe, and I'll see you soon. God's peace. Bye-bye.